the wild lands of southern Africa, in one of the most enigmatic regions of the planet, lives the warrior tribe of the Zulus, a legendary people feared for their strength and unique customs, such as the Dance of the Virgins, where thousands of young girls dance with very little clothing in a party around their king. In this ancestral kingdom, the young men have to go through a grueling test of maturity known as ukuhlolwa, which puts their lives and bravery at risk, marking the transition from boys to warriors. The Zulu, a society in which status and past are reflected in their clothing and ornaments, but also in the marks on their skin. An ancestral tribe that does not wear underwear, and that even today in the 21st century maintains such exceptional customs as being able to marry and keep multiple wives, upon payment of a dowry and number of cows, in a reality in which cattle and women are a symbol of status and power. A community in which thousands of young women mark their passage to adulthood when, after several days of pilgrimage, they arrive at the royal palace to participate in a sensual dance in honor of their king. Don't miss this new video of Uncensored World to discover the secrets, traditions, and curiosities of the Zulu, probably one of the most extraordinary and enigmatic tribes on Earth. Let's get started. The warrior tribe of the Zulu inhabits the southeastern region of Africa, mainly in South Africa, although they also extend to areas of Eswatini, also known as Swaziland, and Mozambique. Their presence in these lands dates back several centuries, and it is estimated that they have inhabited these areas since at least the 15th century. The history of the Zulus is marked by migration and the consolidation of one of the most powerful kingdoms in Africa, which flourished in the 19th century under the leadership of King Shaka Kasenzangakona, popularly known as Shaka Zulu. Shaka was born around 1787 and was the son of Senzangakona, a chief of a minor tribe, the Nzunza. His childhood was marked by adversity, for after the death of his father, he was raised by his mother among the Zulus, where he began to establish his reputation as a formidable and ambitious warrior. In time, Shaka became a key military and political leader in South African history, unifying several tribes under his command and forming a highly organized and disciplined Zulu army. His innovative approach to warfare included new combat tactics, such as the famous ox-horn formation, which allowed him to surround his enemies and effectively dismantle their forces. Through these strategies, Shaka achieved numerous victories, expanding Zulu territory and consolidating his power in the region. The term Zulu is derived from Uzulu, which means heaven in their native language. This name reflects a deep spiritual and cultural connection to their environment. As Shaka consolidated his kingdom, he also forged a rich cultural identity that combined elements of warfare, tradition, and a strong sense of community. The Zulus, renowned for their fighting prowess and organizational skills, became the most feared warrior tribe in Africa, engaging British colonial powers and other African groups throughout the 19th century to defend their territory and way of life. Shaka's influence was so significant that his legacy lives on in Zulu identity to this day. Under his leadership, the Zulu kingdom not only expanded territorially, but also flourished culturally, establishing customs and traditions that continue to this day. However, his rule was not without conflict, and after his assassination in 1828, the Zulu kingdom continued to face challenges, including European colonialism, that drastically affected the history of this region. Shaka Zulu is remembered not only as a warrior and conqueror, but also as a symbol of Zulu resistance and cultural pride. His figure has transcended time, becoming a cultural icon representing the struggle for autonomy and Zulu identity. Through his exploits, both on the battlefield and in diplomacy, Shaka has inspired later generations to value their heritage and celebrate their strength and unity as a people. Despite the changes, colonizations, and other realities that have affected their history, the Zulu tribe has managed to preserve most of its traditions and customs to this day. Thus, it remains intact and continues to be recognized as the most feared and powerful warrior tribe on the African continent. Among these traditions, Some of the most striking have to do with initiation rituals and the passage to adulthood in this society. These rituals mark the transition of young people from childhood to adulthood and are essential to strengthen identity and a sense of belonging to the community. During these ceremonies, young people face physical and emotional challenges that demonstrate their courage and endurance. Zulu initiation tests include challenging activities that test both the physical endurance and mental fortitude of the youth. Of particular note are warrior dances and skill competitions, as well as demanding challenges that require them to keep their distance from the community for months, without food or tools, forcing them to survive on what nature provides. These extreme tests not only test their combat skills, but also teach them the importance of self-reliance and fortitude. Through this series of rites, the young men earn their place in society as warriors and leaders, reinforcing their commitment to the community and strengthening the ties that bind them to their culture and tradition. The coming-of-age ritual for Zulu women is quite different from that of men and is celebrated annually in a sensual dance that takes place in the royal palace. This event is a significant moment where young women show their beauty and grace through dance. This dance is not only a celebration of femininity, but also an opportunity for young women to be seen by potential husbands. But before knowing this tradition and understanding it in more detail, let's try to discover other curiosities that have to do with it. It is essential to understand that the simplicity with which this society dresses has a lot to do with adapting to the environment. In this culture, the use of underwear is not common, which is influenced by several factors, including the hot and humid climate of the region. The high temperatures, especially during the summer months, make wearing additional garments uncomfortable. So many Zulu men and women choose to be bare-chested, wearing only lightweight garments that allow for breathability and free movement, which is essential to their daily activities and lifestyle. In addition, traditional Zulu clothing, which generally consists of animal skin skirts for men and cloth skirts for women. This clothing is adorned with necklaces, bracelets, and other symbolic accessories representing cultural identity. Men often wear animal skin skirts, known as isidwaba, and adornments that include elaborate necklaces and bracelets. These adornments are not only aesthetic, but also symbolize their social status and bravery in the community. Women, meanwhile, wear colorful izikolo, which are skirts made of cloth or leather, often accompanied by blouses decorated with beads. Zulu dress, rich in symbolism and color, is a reflection of their cultural identity and the connection they feel with their ancestors. In addition to their clothing and adornments, a more striking reality is their skin markings, which have deep cultural and social significance among the Zulu. These marks, often made during initiation ceremonies, symbolize the transition from a young man to a warrior, as well as achievements in life. Each mark can indicate the individual's status within the tribe and his or her bravery in battle, functioning as a form of pride and distinction. Through these practices, Zulus not only celebrate personal identity, but also their connection to the history and traditions of their community. Markings and tattoos are also considered a form of body art that reflects Zulu cultural aesthetics. They can have different styles and patterns, and are often unique to certain clans or families, which helps identify membership and lineage. In addition, these body decorations are passed down from generation to generation, keeping the cultural heritage and sense of identity alive among the Zulu. In this sense, skin markings are not only adornments, but tell stories of resilience, pride, and connection to the rich Zulu culture. As you have seen, rather than undergarments, Zulus often rely on these pieces of outerwear and markings to express their identity, status, and belonging to the community. This approach also translates into a sense of cultural pride, as each garment has a meaning that goes back to their traditions and history. Finally, the lack of underwear is also in line with the perception of nudity in some African cultures, where it is considered natural and not necessarily sexualized. For Zulus, the human body is seen as an integral part of their identity and connection to nature. This is in stark contrast to Western norms, which is why many are surprised by one of the practices that Zulu girls are most proud of as they enter adulthood, the Dance of the Reeds, also known as the Dance of the Virgins. This festivity, held annually at the Royal Palace, is a vibrant and colorful event that brings together thousands of young Zulu women who perform dances in honor of the Queen Mother and the King of the Zulu. During this event, the participants usually wear grass skirts and traditional ornaments, while the upper part of their bodies remains uncovered. As you now surely understand, this choice of dress is not considered provocative or sexualized within their culture. Rather, it represents a celebration of youth, beauty, and purity. The reed dance is usually held in August and takes place in a festive atmosphere where young girls proudly display their traditions. It is a way of honoring the women of their community and highlighting the importance of the role of women in Zulu society. This ritual symbolizes not only the transition from childhood to adulthood, but also the young women's commitment to their culture and values. In this context, the dance becomes a moment of reaffirmation and connection to the Zulu identity, where the community comes together to celebrate and pay homage to their traditions. This event can also offer young women the opportunity to find a husband. Although the primary focus of the dance is the celebration of virginity and entry into adulthood, it is also believed that young women who participate in the dance have the potential to attract the attention of single men who also participate in this festivity, which could result in future marital unions. This dynamic reflects the importance of marriage in Zulu culture and how traditions can influence social relationships. During the dance, participants not only showcase their dance skills, but also exhibit their strength and endurance, qualities valued in this warrior society. The dances are performed with energy and synchronization, allowing the young women to demonstrate their readiness to assume more important roles in society. Although it may seem surprising from a Western perspective, in Zulu culture, this practice reflects respect for purity, feminine strength, and community unity. Through reed dancing, young girls not only celebrate their passage into adulthood, but also strengthen their connection to the rich Zulu cultural heritage, ensuring that traditions endure over time. Traditions that in this case have a lot to do with another of the most controversial realities of Zulu society, that of polygamy. In Zulu culture, polygamy is a legal and common practice, and is deeply rooted in their traditions and customs. In this society, it is common for men, especially those with power or wealth, to have several wives. This practice is not only based on family dynamics, but is also considered a status symbol. Although the number of wives may vary, a man of high social standing may have multiple partners, reflecting his influence and resources in the community. Although it may come as a surprise, in this tribe, cattle, particularly cows, play a central role in this reality and are an indicator of wealth and power. In many cases, dowry is paid in cattle, which means that for each wife a man wishes to take, he must provide a specific number of cows as compensation to the bride's family. This dowry system not only ensures the economic stability of the woman's family, but also reinforces the importance of cattle in Zulu society. The amount of cattle a man owns largely determines how many wives he can have. The greater the number of cattle, the greater his prestige and ability to attract wives. For example, a man who has enough cattle can offer a generous dowry, which makes him more attractive as a potential husband in the community. This pragmatic approach to marriage allows families to establish strategic alliances, creating a network of relationships that strengthen both social cohesion and the economic well-being of the community. In addition, polygamy is also seen as a means of ensuring offspring and lineage continuity. In a society where fertility and procreation are highly valued, having multiple wives allows men to maximize their chances of having children. This is especially relevant in contexts where infant mortality can be high and family continuity becomes a priority. Thus, through polygamy, the Zulus not only strengthen their social ties, but also ensure the prosperity of their future generations. At this point, we take the opportunity to ask you, would you like to participate in the Dance of the Virgins? What do you think of being able to have several wives or not wearing underwear? Pause the video and leave us your comment. Doing so is the best way for you to help our channel Uncensored World, so we keep working every week to bring you interesting content like this. So, thank you. At this point, you might be interested to know how to learn more about this tribe and if it is possible. If so, you will be happy to know that meeting the Zulus is possible, and there are several ways to approach this fascinating culture. In South Africa, especially in the KwaZulu-Natal province, cultural tourism initiatives have been developed that allow visitors to interact with Zulu communities. These experiences offer the opportunity to learn about their customs, traditions, and way of life. However, it is important that tourists approach with respect and an open mind, recognizing the cultural richness that Zulus have maintained over the years. One of the practices that attracts the most attention from visitors is the possibility of participating in festivals and cultural events, such as the famous Dance of the Virgins. It is important to note that during these events, tourists can witness traditional dances, in which the reality may have little to do with that of the country of origin, but must be followed with honor and respect. During visits, local guides explain the meaning of each ritual and custom, enriching the visitor's experience and fostering a meaningful cultural exchange. In addition to the festivals, there are also organized tours that allow visitors to get to know the Zulu in a more in-depth way. These tours can include visits to traditional villages, where tourists can observe Zulu dwellings, participate in daily activities, and even learn about hunting and gathering techniques still practiced in some communities. Local guides are often members of the community and can share stories about their history, traditions, and beliefs, offering an authentic perspective on Zulu life. Through festivals, tours, and respect for their culture, visitors can gain valuable insight into one of Africa's most intriguing, mysterious, and feared societies. As you have seen, Zulu culture is a testament to the strength and identity of an ancient people, with realities and customs very different from much of the world. A history that continues to evolve as they celebrate their traditions and look to the future. Zulu culture, with its unique traditions and customs, faces several challenges in the modern world. Globalization, urbanization, and the influence of Western culture have led to changes in their ways of life and customs. The youth, for example, are attracted to the opportunities offered by urban life, which can result in a disconnect from the ancestral traditions and practices that have defined their community for centuries. However, despite these challenges, many Zulus are actively working to preserve their cultural heritage, revitalizing traditions through education and the celebration of cultural events and realities such as these you've met. Initiatives such as festivals, tourism, traditional dances, and community activities help to keep Zulu customs alive, and there is a growing interest in promoting cultural tourism, which not only benefits this community economically, but also fosters a sense of pride and belonging to Zulu society, that of the most feared and powerful warriors on the African continent. From Uncensored World, we hope this video has helped you to discover and learn more about the Zulu, one of the most emblematic and resilient communities on the planet, which we hope will remain despite the changes brought about by modern times. We hope this journey of discovery has been as enriching for you as it has been for us. If so, do not hesitate to leave us a nice like and a comment. It is the best way to help us to continue working to bring you every week interesting content like these. Or like this video that you can watch now to discover another of the most mysterious and beautiful places on the planet. Click on it, you will enjoy it.